Well. Hey. Good evening, and welcome to another Saturday night Reaver, the Knights edition. Basically, I have had no idea what to do today, or for the past couple of days. I haven't had much time to actually do prep for the live stream, so I'm doing some paint overs of the rest of my House Caesarian Knights. I'm also debating in regards to these little dudes, the Moirax. Hey, Voren, hello. Thank you for joining me. Always a pleasure, sir. I know you, these little guys, the Moirax. I'm still seriously contemplating making them into these, and just keeping them all the Armigers and Moirax that I'm getting over the next few weeks with regards to Christmas. And so I thought I'd just wear a hat. It was in here, and I thought I'd wear it anyway. Yeah, so I'm seriously debating. Yeah, I know who you are, sir. But anyway, thank you, Sander, for dropping in. I'm seriously contemplating just repainting these. They're all right. I'm happy enough with them, but I've just been thinking, do I really want to go down the road of having two large sort of armies of Armigers with knights, where I can just have one big one? And I'm not 100% compared to these ones. If the focus will come on, focus, come on then. Yeah, so I like the look of the Veroni Knights. I just noticed need a touch up in a few places. So yeah, I just like the overall aesthetic to these guys more than these guys. So the green is pretty great, and I think I like it more than exactly. And that's exactly how I feel. And obviously, I've got more of these dudes turning up. I've got one box here already, and the others won't be with me until Christmas time. So yeah, I'm slowly talking myself into doing these in House Veroni colours, and just having a big swarm, an absolute master swarm of Veroni Knights to run around and kick butt. Because obviously with the trying to get this thing, trying to get them into a cohesive unit's one thing. I like to have the options so I can mix in, mix out, or whatever. Reading the rules with the banners in particular, in reference to making knights, lances. There's been lots of chat on various sort of groups and forums with the how you go about actually taking them. So what I can do, from my interpretation of these battle groups of knights, of Armigers, like having a massive swarm, because obviously their units being 3 to 9 is quite a nice size, and especially if you're using them in a lance, because the coordinated fire rule will give them quite a nice buff. Because for those that don't know the coordinated fire rule, basically, as long as your knight banners are within 6 inches of each other, because a lance is comprised of 3 separate banners. Now, you have to have at least 2 of the banners have to be of the same class of knight. So me, like when I have deployed a lance in battle, I just done 3 banners of lancers. It saved a lot of hassle. But now there's so many more knights available. I would still sort of, with Armigers, I would still team them up with Lancers or Castigators or even Acherons because of the speed. You want to keep them all together. You don't want to sort of stretch them, because once they're outside of 6 inches, that unit will not gain any benefits from the Lance rules. They have to remain within a 6 inch distance from each banner. So you can streak them out and put them all over the place, but their unit coherency, each banner has to remain at least 6 inches in connection to the next one. But with coordinated fire, instead of having multiple shots, you get whatever the weapon they've got to fire. So, for example, so if you had a banner of Armigers, so Warglaives, so they're the ones with the thermal lance. So if you had one banner of 9, for example, amongst your lance, you could do 9 shots individually. That's fair. At strength 8. Or if you use coordinated fire, you can have 1 shot, but then it would be +1 for every knight within that unit. So instead of strength 8, you'll be doing an additional strength. Well, you'll have strength 8 as the base, and then it's +1 strength for every knight. So it's 4 banners. That's 9 strength in addition. So you're going to be doing 17 damage with 1 shot, and that's an auto crit. I don't care who you are. If that hits, that's an auto crit. So against, and that's without even taking into account arcs, so side or rear or any damage. Now that's going to be overkill anyway, because nothing has higher than 17 anyway. But that would be very, very deadly to everything on the table, even the big guys. A strength 17 shot from a bunch of knights, it's going to really hurt it. So that's a crit +2 extra damage, and obviously it depends on how damaged they are already. But that crit could be, depending on where you're shooting as well. It could be, these guys could be within their shield envelope, shooting them up from behind. So that's going to hurt. But then again, if you're up close and personal, you probably would still go from behind as well. So you'd be on an undamaged Titan, you'd be doing a minimum of 10 damage from the rear with thermal lances. And so in that situation, you probably would go all out maximal shots, because 9 strength 10 shots can get messy. But if you're out of the shield envelope, or you're not that close, I don't know, you should maybe do it anyway. It's more actually, coordinated fire is better from lower strength weapons, to be fair, because like Avengers miniguns, for example, on Questoris Knights, they're only like strength 3, but if you've got a full banner of Questoris, which is 6, that's 9 damage plus arc plus any previous damage anyway, and it fires like 8 shots, because it's this weapon stat. So whatever shots it got, and then you +1 strength for each knight in addition. So including the one that's firing. You've never played AT yet, but that does sound pretty juicy. That's the thing. It's like, when Knights came out and everyone was going, oh, there's strength 3 Avenger minigun. It can't hurt shields, but it can hurt when shields are out the way or you're doing coordinated fire. But 8 shots at a higher strength is always going to be good against shields anyway. It's almost as good as an APOC launcher. So even though you're not getting the volume of fire, you're getting the quality. So it's definitely worth, that's what you have to remember with Knights, is that having an individual Knight banner, like a support banner, you're generally going to go for Porphyrions because they are going to do the business for you. Whereas if you go, in a lance, then you've got more. It's more stringent because you've got to have each knight has to have the same weapon in each banner. So with that, you should always buy, to get a minimum size lance in Questoris, you need 3 boxes of Questoris. And then you've got 1 minimum size banner of thermal cannons, 1 minimum of basically Knight Paladin with the battle cannon, and then 1 with the Avengers. So even that small squad of 3 Avenger miniguns with coordinated fire, that's going to be doing 8 shots at strength 6. So that's actually quite nasty. So yeah, it's all about getting your units sorted out, and then just going for it, really. And you do have the option with Questoris Knights. You can actually make Crusaders, which are the ones where you've got like an Avenger minigun and battle cannon or thermal lance, and then you can have the rocket pods on the top. All the weapons will benefit from coordinated fire, so that is actually quite a nasty little loadout. Again, they're very close and personal, but their knights are very nippy and quick. So bringing them up close and personal, or within range, and then doing massed coordinated fire, a lance can be very, very deadly with this, firing, and they're even worse when they're up close, out of arc and stabbing you with weapons. So I know, the main thing that most princeps will go, oh yes, haven't you ever heard of a volcano cannon? But I've said before in previous live streams, volcano cannons are great, but it's still a chance you can miss because it's a template weapon. So you still got that. You've also got a chance that you might not damage. You might roll ones. So having that sort of oh yeah, I've got volcano cannons, they're dead, and you don't delete them with a shot. 2 turns, you've got basically, if you're going to do like first fire and not move, you're staying put. These guys are going to be moving at your first turn, and these guys move. How far they move now? 11 inches. So if they went on full stride, and they were deployed in a maximum of sort of 6 inches in most deployment, you're 6 inches in from the board edge, or if you've got different types of deployment, then you may be further in. But in full stride order, that's 22 inches. They could be right in your face at the end of first turn. They're not going to be able to attack you, but if you've got a swarm of knights around you first turn, you've not got a lot of options. You can fire, but there's still going to be a lot of knights very close to you, and you're not going to outrun them. And then the next turn, they're going to charge you. And then that's when it's really going to hurt. So yeah, they are, not very well. Armigers aren't very survivable because they've only got 2 hit points, so you've got to do 3 damage and you remove 1, or 1 crit, refresh, remove. But they're still tough. You still need to do strength 9 plus your dice roll to actually get a direct hit. So Vulcan Mega Bolters on their own aren't going to sort of get any benefits because they don't get any sort of damage track bonuses. So you're still going to have to roll at least a 5 up. No, sorry, 6. No, 5. Sorry, 5 for your strength 4 for Vulcan Mega Bolters. So you're still going to have to roll a 5 plus to actually do 1 point of damage on one of these guys. So yeah, again, lots of volume, no benefits for damage track or anything. So you've still got to get a 5 plus to wound a Armageddon. So that's quite handy. Obviously, the bigger weapons like Quake and Volcano are going to be more devastating at the end of the day. So that's what you'll be careful of. Yeah, from what I read, Knights can be pretty nasty to deal with. They are fast and with either a great distraction or pain. Yeah, exactly that, mate. They make your opponent think about what they are doing, what's going to be happening. Because that's the thing, it does affect your ability to react and how to deal with enemy coming at you. And anyway, right, yeah, so I have decided I am repainting these dudes. Oh, pardon me. So they are going to now be House Veroni. So I'll get these done today, no problem. So, let's have a look. So, that's what I'm going to do. Let's get. So yeah, that's all good. Brush. Let's get that. So I'm going to see how just going direct over the colours with this is Skull Crusher brass. No, it's actually not too bad. So this has been a layer paint. It's not too thick and globulous, so I'm still not worried about losing any detail. Just paint over these parts. So we can try and keep that in focus as best I can for you. But yeah, so like when you do a project and you just keep looking at it and then just going, it's just not quite doing it for me. And these in this colour, I thought it would look pretty cool, and to an extent, yeah, they are, but I'm just not happy with them. So they are being changed. I thought they were 25mm, to be honest with you. Somebody said they're 20mm, but I haven't actually got a tape measure. I can't actually tell you. Well, not a tape measure here, but they definitely look like a 20. No, that doesn't mean anything. Well, they must be 25mm because these are dated 2006. Yeah, so back in those days, we didn't have any other sort of 32mm bases or anything, so has to be 25mm base. They're bigger than you expected. All right. I don't know. I didn't think they were going to. Well, I had no illusions that they were going to be small, but they are very small. I believe the technical term is. The official term is small, which I've actually got. So. Bite your ankles. So they are very under half the size of a Lancer. And then you've got, so 3 times bigger with the Porphyrion. So you've got to learn not to speak with brushing mouth. Yeah, so they're a lot. So where did I put? Oh, I don't know. I haven't finished with you. So yeah, they're very teeny tiny, but they are cute as a button. And they do build rather well. They say I built the 3 I done last weekend was about an hour and a half, but obviously that was on live talking and stuff. I sort of guesstimated that without talking to you wonderful people out there and just going for it, you could probably do a night with cleanup, 15 to 20 minutes each, easily. The fiddly parts are fiddly, which are normally going to be the stabilizers on the rear here, which some people said about doing putting the stabilizers on before attaching the legs to the body, and I did do that with these guys, and I have to say, yeah, it was a lot easier to do. So that is my recommendation. Doing that, because it just makes life so much easier with tiny knights. Because the first lot, I wasn't too bad. There was some of the guys who were in the chat who had been building theirs already, had said that they kept on gluing themselves because of how fiddly those bits are to do whilst the legs, once it's attached together. But yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to do the other way. And obviously painting them doesn't take long at all either, really. So, I done a bit of a supply run after work yesterday and came home via Wayland Games and picked up some more Agrax, which was quite nice because I had run out pretty much. I've only got a diluted solution of Agrax, which I normally use, which I will be using tonight actually, where I do the Corax white parts, because I give it a diluted Agrax and water wash to help sort of weather it really. So it just accumulates without taking too much of the colour of the white out. So it makes it a bit more bony looking, and then I just give a little touch up with Corax white just to bring it back up again in the most parts. Yes. Little ankles. So today, out of hobby, I'm running low on Known oil at the moment. I think I've gone through almost half a bottle since I started on Titans and Scenery. That will happen to you. Say washes and shades on Titans and Knights is just so helpful. It really does make a big difference when you're painting. I'm gonna go get these toes. Ooh. Yeah, so today I driving to work, and I finished the last book in the Expanse series, audio book anyway, the Leviathan Falls, and yeah, I was pretty happy with the way things panned out in the series. Obviously, in the TV series, season 6 started now, so watching that because I love my Expanse. Still one of the best sci-fi programs around. there's no coming back from that. It is one of the best sci-fi programs around. It's the one I've definitely watched the most. I've watched it all its seasons numerous times, and each time I've learned something new, or I've seen something that I hadn't seen. Hey James, aye Captain, how you finding it out in Gibraltar? I saw you ran into that the guy who does the no retreat. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And you've had nice weather, from what I could tell from that picture I saw or you sent out on the chat the other day. Are you actually hobbying, or are you just chilling? So are you just starting season 4 then? Is that about right for you? It's I think season 2 seasons. So yeah, you're going to be Ganymede. No, it's actually Start of the Ring, isn't it? Really, starting. Yeah, the war that's going on, Jules Pierre Mao, and all that jazz. Yeah, no, I was the middle seasons are probably my favourite. So yeah, so Prax, yeah, when Prax was with the crew, all through his arc. Then obviously the Behemoth arc, and even season 5. Actually, I do enjoy season 5 because it was so different being out on other places apart from the Rossi and like all the sort of sets and all that sort of thing. And yeah, no, I'm not going to spoil things because it is so wonderful to watch. Nice and warm, hungover, little chilling today, nice lazy routine on board. Nice. And I shall drink to you, sir. You'd think with working at home I'd get to watch a lot of stuff, but just not in the mood to watch any TV. That's fair. I only saw season 1 as it moved from Netflix. You not have Amazon Prime then, Sif? Because like season 1, a lot of people when I'm talking about the Expanse, they say, "Oh, I saw like the first episode," sort of thing. It's not normally for me. It's end of season episode 3, start of season episode 4. That's when it all goes. So obviously the first one is like, oh, and and then the little bits and pieces of what's happening there, and then it gets to the end of episode 3 when they go, and then next minute it's like, ah. That's a brief synopsis of the first 4 episodes of the Expanse season 1. But yeah, it's from that point onwards, episode 3, 4, when it just goes. I think with Amazon, sometimes you can get Amazon Prime for like a trial for like a month, so it might just be worth to do that. I don't know if they still do it, because I did it once when I was watching. I was wanting to watch Black Sails and Vikings, I think. So I got it for a month and started watching them, and then I just thought, well, there's other interesting stuff there, and I just ended up buying it because obviously with the whole getting the delivery for your Amazon, so it worked out all right, and you get like stuff like on Twitch. If you're signed up to like Amazon Prime, you get each month you can do a free subscription to a Twitch channel of your choice, which benefits the channel because they get sort of kickback from it, and you get to view all that wonderful content of stuff. So like even you can subscribe to Warhammer TV, like the normal like hobby hangout variety, not the other, not the premium service that they're doing. But yeah, it's and for the Expanse and several other shows that are on Amazon, which are well worth a watch. So because it's always nice to have like that sort of stuff in the background as well, isn't it? Ooh. Oh yeah, as I say, like with Sander is saying there, you get a lot of like in-game items. So if you do a little bit of like Xbox or PS, you do get some nice little bonuses to games and stuff. I recently got some stuff for Destiny for my Xbox. Like special items, stuff like that. So it's quite handy, and obviously it's all part of your thing anyway. So it's cunning how they sort of they win you over. But yeah, the last few seasons, which obviously Amazon have been in control of the Expanse, they've continued. Then I say they have probably improved on the quality a little bit. There's a bit more money for them to sort of put into the show, and it has paid off. And the characters are just awesome characters. Amos, Alex, Holden, and Naomi. Them alone are pretty good. Obviously, for me, it is Amos and Avasarala are my 2 favourites. Bobby as well, who's just a badass Martian Marine when she turns up. But it's all about Amos and Avasarala for me. Avasarala as a politician. Yeah. So why didn't you ever want to be in the office before? I like to be in the shadows and get shit done. But yeah, she was such a great character. And Drummer. Oh, Drummer. Fred Johnson. There are so many great characters in there. Anderson Dawes even. He's pretty good character. and obviously played by Jared Harris. So obviously he's got some, gravitas about him. And we cannot forget Thomas Jane with Josephus Miller. Josephus Miller, the detective Judy Mao. But yeah, so TV series finishes, and then I don't know what I'm going to do myself. The Expanse has been a big part of my life for these last few years. Fantastic show. I remember telling Phil about it, old Injun Phil. We was down at Wayland Games, some gaming and stuff, and we was having a chat afterwards. And I said to him and my friend Mike about The Expanse, and just went off on one. Just like, it's from where it starts to where it ends. You don't see what happens happening, and then when it does, you go, "Wow, I didn't expect that." But it's definitely got an awesome sort of feel to each episode, and the use of actual science in the show. Apart from like the whole drive system, the Epstein drive, which they don't really explain, but then they don't need to, sort of thing. So this happens, it has an effect on the storytelling. But obviously in TV series, compared to like the books, obviously it still takes time to travel from A to B, but it's a lot quicker than if they didn't have said Epstein drive. But it all adds to the rich background that is the Expanse universe. There was also a little Easter egg in one of the earlier seasons. I think maybe season 2 or 3. Because Ty Frank and Daniel Abraham, who write as James S.A. Corey, they are sort of buddies with the guy who wrote The Martian and Artemis. So obviously, like, Matt Damon's space adventure, where we had to rescue him yet again. But they're sort of buds with that, and there is actually a Martian ship that gets mentioned in The Expanse, called the Mark Watney. So they put that in there as a little Easter egg for fans of the author's work and the film The Martian and that. I think there is actually mention of, because Artemis is a book that's based on the moon, about like the first moon base, and I think that's actually mentioned in The Expanse as well. So they've sort of tied in the universes, sort of thing, in a way. It's always cool when that sort of stuff happens. Who doesn't like an Easter egg? That's that done. So yes, how am I finding the Armagers? I really like them. I do. They're tiny little pieces of joy. They are easy to build. I was saying earlier on to Sander, they are really straightforward. There's 10 parts per model, but you don't notice it really. So you've got the body, 2 weapon arms, 2 shoulders, leg, stabilizer, and dependent on the weapon. Oh, also on the Helverins, you've got melted cannon, melted gun, or stubber. Hey Lee, hello, welcome. There's Mellow Shade. I've mentioned Wayland Games a couple of times. Just so people know, I don't get any commission from Wayland Games. It's just that it's my local, friendly local gaming store, and I popped down to pick up supplies last night. Yeah, lovely to see you, dude. And that little that animal monster thing that you posted up, Ola. It's a lot of Ola. I can't remember what they were called. Battle Beasts. That one you picked up, that was my absolute favourite one. The little sort of like dolphin-y, sharky thing. He just looked the coolest for me when I had them. Actually, I remember with them, I was working. Well, say working. I was with my dad as he was in work, because he used to make like kitchen units and bedroom units and all that sort of stuff. And I remember being there and wanting to build a little sort of like a Space Hulk type thing, like corridors and stuff on a bit of hardboard, and putting these little bits of wood on it for my Battle Beast to run around. So, fond memories of those guys. So, Sawtooth Shark, yeah, there he is. He was the coolest. Are you hobbying today as well, buddy? Just chilling, hanging out, say hello. It's always a pleasure. You know I love to come and see you at Salute. Always my first port of call. I'm 1 figure away from complete the Series 1. I'm just waiting for it. Ah, nice. You do have rather impressive collections. Yes, don't worry about it, dude. I'm not gonna ban you. But the last 2 haven't duplicated. So we'll see. It might duplicate. I might be lucky, but it doesn't matter, dude. I know you're not spamming. Yes. So yeah, what I was going to say or ask people. I'm putting some washes on my War Master type. Oh. Hello, Harry Painter. For those who may not know who Harry Painter is, he and his delightful fiancée, Lasshammer, they have obviously had their own sort of little pages, but they run their own 3D printing company called Rice and Resin. And they have a few sort of like contracts with various designers and stuff. So again, I don't get commission or any sort of endorsements. I'm just helping out a friend, putting it out there, because they do have some rather nice little models that you can get from them, of normally quite quick and quite reasonably priced. Are you actually relaxing today after your live stream last night, Harry, with your AOS defeat to Lass? Oh, you got some Halo Infinite and played some Halo Infinite. Yeah, Yeah. The last couple of Halos I haven't been able to get into. They don't have the same joy as I had with Halo 3, ODST, and my favourite one, which was Halo Reach. Absolutely loved Halo Reach. It's such a good game, and I enjoyed the story immensely, especially the space combat. I absolutely loved the space combat in that. Working on trims of Warhounds 5 and 6, so much gold. Yes. Actually, what I was doing with mine, Sander, with my Audax, like what I'm doing with these guys, I paint all the armor gold first and then fill in the plates with Abaddon black and then do my stipling and then whatever else I need to do with them. So I found that a lot easier than trying to pick out trim. So give that a try. Maybe that will help. But obviously you're already doing the trim, so ignore me. But when you do sort of Warhounds 7, 8, 9, 10, there you go. Give one a try, see if it works. They are technically Transformers, as in Japan they had Autobot and Decepticon symbols instead of wood, fire, and water. They're even a Headmaster's cartoon. Wow. I did not know that. That was pretty... you learn wonderful facts here. And as I say, Mellow Shade has some really awesome collections, which he does like to post up on occasion, especially like if you like Transformers. He's got one of the most impressive Transformer collections going. Yeah, not working much today, just making a camera mat. Instead of just using like sticky tape and sticking it into the ceiling. Hey, it was your second live show for doing your battle reports for AOS, so I thought it went rather well. Apart from when the hand, I started having like, oh, so like, there's a big hand trying to get me. There is Chantel. She's massive hands. When she does that, her hands are huge. Hey, Rob. Ross. We've got all the dudes aplenty. If again, Rob Walters in the chat, Icon74, which is EYECon74. If you like Titans, his 28mm and his AT stuff in Legio Solaria is chef kiss, big time. And he's a really nice guy too. He's sickening. I'm buying a bigger house to keep it all in. Yeah, I think you have to really, because you do have quite a lot of stuff, especially what you was telling me about at Salute. You've got so much, but it's glorious. It's a glorious thing to have. It's like me and my Titans. Because all these Titans and people just go, okay, they just accept it. I don't get any sort of aggro over it. You might get the odd occasion, oh, that cost a lot of money. But then, as I pointed out, like to somebody the other day when I saw about Armigas, I said, oh, yeah, they're a lot of money. And I was going, well, yeah, but then Christmas is around the corner and I just asked to have lots of them. So I'm not paying for them. So there you go. I don't want anything else. I just want little Armigas to run around and bite people's ankles. And I'm fortunate enough that my girlfriend is going to get me them. Along with another Asterius and hopefully some Styrax, because I haven't got any Styrax yet for my collection. As if by magic. Chantel is here. Hello. Welcome. I'm painting for a change and not harassing you on your streams with hashtags galore. I'm not that drunk even. I've only got about I've got 2/3 of my first can. What's that? Sorry, second can, but first can on live. I know the feeling, Melashade. I'm on 6 large Titans now and nowhere to put them. But they are glorious. It's not going too badly. I'm actually, these little guys, I'm repainting because I painted them all up and I went to, yeah. You know, like you do a paint scheme and you think, yeah, it looks all right. And then you just keep looking at it and going, I'm really not happy with it. So I'm painting over and making, they were yellow, like half and half, yellow and black. I'm now going to paint them up like these little green and white dudes because I like the green and white and the gold. It just sells it to me. And I will get you and Harry into doing AT one day. Even if I have to come up and give you a demo game, it's not as if I haven't got the Titans to do that. So you can have a little run around and blow each other up to your heart's content because it's fun. You said the Armageddon 10 parts. How does that split out? Right. Luckily for you, my dear friend, I have a fresh box. So this was the last box of stuff that I ordered myself as a treat. So legs, torso, they are, hold on a sec. So you've got teeny tiny melter guns and a little stubber, and you've got your chassis there for that. So it's all in one at least with that thing. So you've got obviously the leg sections go onto that little knobbly bit. There you go. But you can see the detail on this. So you've got like individual cables and stuff on there. So I'll use. Look at that! So it's really, really detailed. Now, yeah, so all little, come on, focus, there you go. So you've got all the little sort of pipes and stuff in the side there as well. It's, focus? No, it's not going to have the focus there. It's just too tiny. So what else have we got? So leggies. So there's all your legs. There's all your. They have got 2 different faces. So these ones have got more humanoid face. That one's got more of a cyclopean face. There you go. I can use fancy words and everything. None of these have axes. The nearest, obviously, you know how much I love a good axe, but they do. Actually, I can show you because I have some conveniently placed here. He says conveniently; they're in the box. So we have got the chainswords. The Reaper chainswords, which is always nice to have a sword that is also a chain sword, and you have the Thunderstrike Power Fist, which is magnificent. Because in 40k, when you're playing 40k with these guys, if you destroy an enemy vehicle with the Thunderstrike, you can actually then throw said vehicle at somebody. What's not to love? Come on. So you've got that there. You have the Lancer, which is the pointy stick of doom, and shield, which the shield actually is a weapon as well. So that's, who doesn't like sticking a spear into somebody's naughty place? Now, this would be probably the nearest to an axe for sheer coolness. Is this guy with the bigger chain fisty type weapon, which has built-in in 40k you can use the built-in heavy bolters, which it has there, and a massive flame cannon. Because like, who doesn't like roasting and toasting? Like, wow, lass, what was the chicken chow slain? There you go, or pork chow slain. Yeah, flame grilled. You've also got this little bugger, which this weapon here is a Graviton Singularity cannon, aka it fires black holes, which, again, how awesome is that? And this weapon here is a sort of las cutter. So again, in 40k scale Atrapos, this can shoot short range, but it's a very powerful short range shot, and then you get to chop them up with that as well. So double trouble. Then you have these guys with the Tempest Warblade. So that just goes round and chops people up nice and swiftly. And then you have the the Gatling guns. Because again, who doesn't like rotary cannons? Rotary cannons are the bollocks. Now, who else have we got? Who have I missed out? I've missed out. Right. You've got these little guys, which lightning cannons. So guess what that does? Yeah, fires lightning. And it's got his little claw there. Again, with these weapons, like these clawed weapons that some of these knights have, there is, again, in 40k, there is actually an additional weapon system in there as well. So like a Dreadnought power fist, where they normally have like a plasma or a melter or a flamer in the palm. That's what these guys have as well. And then they have their shoulder-mounted weapons, which are very cool. These are actually one of my favourite knight suits, because they're just like, I love Cyclopean eyes. They're just awesome. And then we move on to one of the big guys. So that's a Porphyrion of the Acastus class, which is not liked that much because the firepower this thing has is horrendous. they had to nerf it, and it's still badass. But yeah, so it's got missiles on the top, and it's got its las cannons, as well as or you can have auto cannons there, and then you have its big las cannons, the Magna Lance cannons, which are very nasty as well. And then finally, after this presentation, you have Chunky Boy 3000, the Asterius with its heavy conversion beamers and Volkites on there, and it's got a mortar up there. They are very, very nasty. Like the Porphyrions, they're not going to be liked very much because for the points cost, they were a lot cheaper. You used to be able to get before the nerf last year, the Porphyrions would work out to about 100 points. So you could have two of them and have almost 3 times the firepower of one Warhound Titan. And it was a little bit much. And plus you could have them in bigger squads. You could have them in a banner, which is their name for squad, of 4. So for Porphyrions, so I'll use this one that's out. Here you go. So this Porphyrion, before the nerf, had 4 shots, and it was using like a 3-inch template. Now in AT, if the centre hole finishes over the top of a target, it doubles the hits. So one of these could do 8 hits with its main guns, and they're quite high strength. They're strength 8. So when you're doing your damage, you strength 8 plus a d6 dice roll, and yeah, so that's a lot of shots and a lot of powerful shots. And if you had a banner of 4 of them, that's 32 shots coming into whatever they're shooting at. Oh dear, sorry, I'm going to catch up with what is going on there. So, yes, tiny checks, yes. I used the decals from the Questoris. So that first one I showed earlier, that is decals. Because there's no way on earth that I am doing that with a pen or anything. Yes, Harry, a lot of shots. So they've now been nerfed, so you can only have a banner of 2, and you can only have 1 banner per basically a mana pool. So you've got to have, like, when you're doing AT, it's normally based on mana pools, which is like 1 unit of up to 5 Titans, and then when you have a minimum of 3, maximum of 5. So per banner, per mana pool, you can have then a support Titan or a support household support banner. So you can have 2 of them for every mana pool that you have in your battle group. Normally, in most games, you're only going to get like 2,000 points. You could do 2 minimal mana pools. Try saying that when you're drunk. And then you've got choices of 2 banners of those nasty Porphyrions. Basically, if you go, I think it's like an unwritten rule now that if you went in with a lot of Porphyrions, people aren't going to like you very much. I think really in most games 2 and is it. Don't go for more than 2 because everyone's going to be bitching because they are still a little bit nasty, to be fair. I always said when they first came out, when everyone started moaning at how many shots they could get, the easiest remedy for it was to say that they don't benefit from the double hits. So they don't. Each one would only ever get 4 hits. 8 hits is nasty. And I was in doing the Legio Walks tournament campaign weekend. It's the only AT1 that has been officially done at Warhammer World last year in February, and I was playing against a guy who was actually a store manager for Games Workshop, and he basically used one of them to shoot at a little squadron I had of 2 warhounds. But he said, I'm aiming at that point there, in between the 2. So basically, that 4 hits. So how it works out is with a template. I think it happens with other games as well. But in AT, the first one hit, if the little sentinel holes over it, that's 2 hits on that. And then if the template catches somebody else, then it's an additional hit. So he was getting 12 hits because he was aiming right between the 2 Titans, basically. Because when you squadron Warhounds Titans, the small doggy ones, you've got to have them base to base to really benefit, because you can merge your shields envelope so they get more dice for soaking up damage, basically. So he was doing a volley from 1 Porphyrion of 12 hits. So my shields just disappeared. Because I rolled really badly on my dice rolls for saving. So yeah, that was very gamey, because there is a mechanic in the rules where you can do what they call called shots. So when you're shooting at an enemy Titan, if you shoot it normally, you roll your normal ballistic skill of 3+ normally. And then you have to roll a location dice to see where you hit. If you do a called shot, it adds +2 to the difficulty. So you're hitting on a 5+. So yes, it's harder to hit, but then you're deliberately aiming at a specific location. So like if you've already damaged a Titan, you want to shoot that position again. So it's going to be harder. So it's a good payoff. You know, it's risk reward. I love risk reward. So yeah, you might want to fire at it, but you're rolling on a 5+ to hit that location. But you know, or you chance it with the location dice. What do you do? What do you do? Get your maximum amount of shots you can, and might hit something else, and then you're distributing the damage. No, you go for a cooled shot. So what he was doing, in my mind, was a cooled shot to a specific location. So he should have been rolling on a 5+, but there's no rule to say he can't do that. And I find that's gamey. You know, I don't mind being hit by templates, but when you're deliberately targeting a specific area, it should be harder to hit because you're aiming at a specific area, like you're targeting something on a Titan. So yes. Evening MZ, hello, welcome, nice to see you. I hope you are well. For those that missed it earlier on, I was wearing a cowboy hat. There you go. Hey. Thought I'd throw that in there. So, my Asterius wrecked on the last 2 Titan walks. The conversion beamers and mortal are evil. Yes, they are. 32 shots for 400 points. Yes, it was. That was before the nerf. They're dearer now, thankfully. And you cannot have more than 2 in a banner. But that's still, 16 shots. As I said, if they all hit with their templates, 8 hits for 4 shots. So they should have just dropped the central circle bit. 4 hits are enough from a... Admittedly, they are meant to be directly representative of the 40k model, so that's why they've got blast template, because the 40k one has blast, and you normally find that with the AT scale echoes the 40k scale. But yeah, they should have just done that. That would have made them a lot less potent, and it's easy fix. You just FAQ it. You don't get double hits from the template. But they went down, increasing points, and it hasn't really... people still hate them. They love them if they've got them, hate them if they're against them. Decals don't sound easier. They're easier if you're using Microset and Microsol. Again, I do not get any endorsements or any things from said company, but that stuff is absolute game changer for decals, at least, anyway. Especially like the Microsol, which is a little bit more harsher, but it does conform decals better to curved areas in particular. So, as I said, with that guy, that was a good sort of bit of time reapplying, letting it settle, and then using a damp kitchen towel to push it further to get any air bubbles out. But eventually, it will settle down and then varnish and all that sort of jazz. Here's some tiny weapons. So Reaper Chainsword, Thermal Lance, Autocannon for the Helverine. So these things you do need to get a pin vice out to do the drilling out the flash, the shim. But again, even with that tying up, you're looking, I'd say, 15 to 20 minutes per model for cleanup and building. They are not... They're quite fun. They are interesting, and they do go together quite well. Pardon me. Still got a bit of a cough from last week, but not too bad. I feel you should not be allowed to target ground. You need to shoot at a target. Yeah, like normally. So using the overhead camera. That's for Harry. Here you go. So yeah, so if I use this roll of Tamiya tape, so yeah, I always, whenever using a template weapon, I'll always center it over the model. So if I hit on a dice roll, oh yeah, perfect. If it scatters, then you're working from the center, and then you go off. What he was doing was probably easier if I used similar size models. There you go. So from his angle, he was shooting from this direction over that way, and basically aiming to put the point over that. So he's technically shooting through a model to hit a location. And yeah, I for now almost 2 years have been bitching about it, and I have bitched to the highest order, to the top of the tree, but it fell on deaf ears. You know, I'm all about fair play, and even like thematic sort of excuses. Then you go, and you accept it, sort of thing. But that, no, it's gamey. It's a proper sort of moment, if you ask me. He knew the rules and calculated the odds. Yeah, bloody store managers. They know all the ins and outs. And apologies to any store managers out there. I do not endorse belittling store managers. I'm okay. Saw as a new. Oh, you had new piercings. What did you have done? Were you like ears or nose or yes? Yeah. And there's my little chain axe. Yes. So there you go, Harry. Sorry, Harry. Harry. Sorry. Look, it's a little chain axe. Kind of. Like chain bayonet. It doesn't have a long shaft on it, but a long-handled axe, as loyal son of Ardent, son of Harren would say. But yes, hey, Eruz is here as well. Yeah, by any definition, that is aiming a shot. Exactly. But it's always a template. Oh, whatever. Dude, you're just like, man. It doesn't make me sad that I defeated him. As I often do in battle. I'm just one of those. I do come with a health warning if you're playing me in AT. So yeah, I'd rather not play certain people because I want them to be my friends. It's not that I'm gaming. I'm just a lucky fucker, quite basically. And I do tend to kill whatever is in front of me. So I have actually had people say I should come with a health warning. So there you go. Just sharing the love, sharing the paint. But yes. So yes, everyone else, all our new little comers along, Eruz. Did you buy any more mini titans? Face bands, Medusa and Elaborate. Ah, so it's like here, there, because I can't Google. Or is it like cheek ones? Was that Elaborate? No, I haven't bought any more Mini Titans. I'm actually repainting Mini Titans, Eruz, because I was not happy. I was not content. And yeah. Oh, and also, if anybody was watching Hobby Hangouts, you might have seen some of these little Veroni was being shown off on it yesterday. So I was quite chuffed because I've had this year. I think it might be my second, maybe third time. No, yeah, no, it was my third time. Sorry, yeah. So I got one for the March for McCrag because I'd done a little Heresy Ultramarine. And then I got one of my War Masters, the Solaria one got shown on there, which was quite nice. And then these little dudes. So, and considering I've put out a lot of Titans this year, and I have done some quite nice little paint schemes on some of them. I got selected for my little dudes. So my little dudes got on there, and they were quite cute, and they seemed to like them quite a lot. So I do like to. Well, it's always nice to get that sort of comments from Peachy, and the new guy Aiden as well, because he does sort of inspire and motivate you a little bit more. Obviously, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, this is a piece of crap, but it's we all like to have a little pat on the shoulder or a pat on the head. So yeah, it was nice. Cheered me up a little bit. But yes. So get that in there. I've got to do toes. Do I have to toes? No, not toes. Toes are the last bits. So it's my bendy brush, which I always remember Rob going, my God, it's like a bent brush you've got on there on your tip, but it goes around corners. Right. Right. That's that. Hey there, Luke. welcome. Picture on your Instagram or Facebook. I'll check that out later on and inspect these piercings of yours. Credit where credit is due. Yeah. Thank you very much, dude. Pat. Thank you, Eruz. I'm painting the War Master Plasma Coils purple to match my 30k word bearers. Blue looks too pure. Well, if blue was pure, then yeah, purple or obviously red would have been quite like an intense sort of colour going with. So I just saw what Harry was saying. If it makes you feel better, I'd be a GW store manager at AOS 47.5. Nice. Well done, Harry. Nice work, son. But yeah, like purple would be quite interesting. Are you? Was you doing Volpa? Can't remember. You doing Volpa? So yeah, it's purple would probably work. And the mousebait. Hello, mousebait. Welcome. I'm so tired. Oh. Has the kitten been running you ragged? What are you up to? Are you hobbying tonight, or are you just relaxing and chilling? Yes. Actually, yeah. Sorry. Black Legion plasma coils are orange. Yeah, but black and orange does look cool together, so that would stand out really well, wouldn't it? So that was a good choice. Oh, those guys, yeah. Poster boys. Yeah. as I think Mortis do have a really nice, straightforward scheme, and it does look really cool. But I could never. The only Mortis I have are dead ones on my bases, because fire wasps. Had to, could not do that. Oh no, mousebait is too elusive to fall into any kind of trap. Yeah, we had a vet appointment for all 5 animals, and the toddlers were off the chain yesterday, so I'm recovering. I'm back working on my warhouse now. Oh, cool. Actually, yeah, you tagged me in a post there. I haven't been able to, since finishing work, getting home, getting cleaned up, having dinner. I haven't been able to get onto thingy. Apart from I did post a 20-minute warning when I was in pre-prep. So normally when I finish up, I'll go through. But I did remember seeing you tagged me in something, so I'll check that out later once I've finished. I'm torn now to get more 28mm scale stuff, or do I get 18 knights? Well, after my little show and tell earlier with the House Veroni knights, and you know how many knights I've got, so I'm not going to say you should not get any more knights. You should get more knights. All the knights. Lots of them. Get them coming out your ears, because they are really cool little chaps and chapettes. Damn you, Luke, bloody enablers. Oh yeah, Jen asked me about how I magnetise. At least I think it was relevant. Yeah, that's fine. No, tag away. I don't mind. I'll talk to anyone. And if I can assist in any way, I will. 4-year-old sold out of 80 Armageddons anyway. Yeah, I'm sorry, that might have been me. My bad. Hey, Kirill. Welcome to another fun-packed evening. You've missed all the fun. No, you haven't really. It's just fun all the way through. You lot in the chat. I've got some. I don't even know what I'm going to do with you. Mousebait, stop it. You'll get round to them eventually. Oh, mouse. Ooh. Yeah, Side Titans were in earlier on in the week. If I'd known you was after one, I would have messaged you and let you know that they were in stock. But obviously that's in, I don't know if it's stock in the US chain but in UK there were stock, because I I contacted Lutin because I knew that he was after one, and I saw that they were back in stock, and so I messaged him and he went and got one. If I had known, there you go, Rob. Howdy, partners. Yay-haw! That's I could probably do a better impression, but I'm not going to. Yeah, so I don't know if there's still any in at the UK website, so it might be worth having a look. There you go. Look, see, I'm all about helping. He says. No, that's the wrong bloody thing. There you go. That was the right one. So unfortunately, I don't get I don't get Wi-Fi in this particular place, which is weird. Seeing as I've got internet. So this is where I'm searching up on. Yeah, no, they're out of stock again. Yeah, it was Wednesday that I found out. Can't remember where I found it. I saw it somewhere that they were back in stock, and yeah. So obviously, once word gets out, you'll. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Mouse. But if I do hear of any, I will message you and let you know that they're in stock. Okay, it's the best I can do. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I originally ordered 7 boxes of 18 Moirax, exchange free today for Styrics. Yeah, let's say that's a thing, because obviously getting them shipped out to you in the States is always going to be that little bit extra on the order. Well, how much it costs for one plus the shipping. So yeah, I don't know what's happening with the email side of things, because Luton said that he never got an email either. So yeah. How well do Moirax perform in game? Are they better than standard Armigers? Damn it. I haven't got the Moirax thing with me. I've only got the Armigers ones, and I think they have strength 6 with their lightning guns and their rending. So again, depends on how well. Yeah. Thermal spears are quite nasty for Armigers. Strength 8, and they have fusion. So obviously, if you're up close and personal, that's a D10 onto your basically anything under 5 inches, you get D10. So because these guys are needing to be shoved down people's throats, literally. Yeah, choke on that. Just get in there, boy. The Reaper Chain Cleaver, which is kind of a little axe cleaver. Yeah. +1 accuracy. It's always good. So that's hitting on 2+, which is not bad. Strength 6 melee. But so basically, for a knight with that sort of weapon, which is going to sound weird because obviously you can choose where you hit. When you're within 2 inches, it's only like +1 instead of +2 for targeted shots. So you could hit a Warlord Titan in the head, even though there's no physical way you can possibly do that. But you can do it on a 3+, which isn't too shabby. Only 1 dice, because it's only 1 weapon, I suppose. But yeah, that's not bad. Obviously, you would be hitting somewhere that's damaged first. So obviously, that's where you put all your shooting attacks. Armageddon auto cannons, which long range 16 inches, not bad. But it's only strength 4 and it's ordnance. So, but only 1 dice again. They're banking on that you've got a banner of 9, and that's with a banner of 9. That's 18 shots. So, because obviously they have 2. I wondered. I thought I'd dropped something earlier, and it was a piece of a head of a knight. I'm going to take this hat off again. Right. Now I've got all that out, and I've got to paint the bloody things. Yes. Oh, you got your Traitor Legio book. Honestly, like with the Loyalist books, the little background stuff is well worth it. It is so good, and it was just nice to actually read up about obviously all my legios that I had for my traitors, and traitor night houses as well. Really sort of, it really does add a lot. Yeah, no, Rob, it's as for the close combat weapon, it gets +1. So their close combat skill is 3+. Ballistic skill is 4+. So, yeah. Yeah, it's all about positioning and outflanking. So that's what you've got to do with knights. Position, outflank. Right. And then we got the Orc Flesh contrast paint. And see, it goes over that gold rather nicely. And that's what you want it to do. Good coverage. And get that on there. It does give it a nice little metallic sheen as well, because you're going onto that gold. It's so, you know, with a small brush as well, it just sits in there so well. A little boo-boo. Clean it off. So, as I said last week when we was building the Armageddon and the Helverine, is that after reading or listening to Mortis, because they had a little squad of Armigers in that for House Veroni, and I just had to do it because they were such a cool little group of knights. The 2's green. Holding my breath almost. I'm sure those that paint their nails know exactly how intense it can be. There you go. I do enjoy contrast paints. They are they're a very good little addition to your toolbox of skills and tools to be used. Codpiece. What can I do that? So the shoulder sections are going to be going in with the Corax white. But I'll alternate the the shoulder pads are going to be white, and these lower bits here, because they're slightly different, because these have only got like the little socks these have got like little shin pads as well, so go with the shins and that bottom bit in Corax white, just to make them stand out and give a little bit more sort of colour to them, so it's just all flat green. Although I am fancying jazzing up this one, so I might do a half and half design on it. Although saying that, now that I've got going to be doing all the rest of them as Veroni, I'm probably going to alternate the units by doing different sort of finished schemes, maybe like sections like half and halves on Carapace, which I've done with some of the bigger guys, because it does give it a really nice little look. Get on there. Crimson! Crimson, my favourite Bostonian. I can say that. Mousebait, you're not in Boston, are you? I might have to change statements to my favourite male Bostonian. So that. Storm, I love storms. I'll catch up on the chat. Sorry, I was faffing around there. So yes, I have to say I mostly buy those for, well, the stuff and more like the rules, like with RPG, fluff. I don't know, don't like to use that word, but I like it. No, fluff's cool. I'm a fluff fan. I love the fluff. It's nicer than always saying the law, because I keep on seeing sort of Stallone, I am the law. So fluff is cool, because it's fluff. It's either fluff or it's background. It's an amazing word. See, Rob, no? And you can add a Y to the end of it, yeah. And then you go, it's so fluffy. Oh, I can't remember her name in Despicable Me. The little one with a unicorn. It's so fluffy. I'm just gonna die. Yes, fluffy lists are the best in my opinion. Secret GW plot: write about a new product so people go, oh, those are cool, and then buy more. I just finished Warhawk audiobook today. Can't wait for the next book. Oh, Warhawk is good. Did you see that? Yeah, again, this is something I was going to speak about with the Black Library thing earlier on today, where you've got in Georgia, a lot of monsoons. Well, you're my favourite Georgian. There you go. Well, you're my favourite Londoner, right? Yeah, because originally I am from London. There you go. Little known fact there. Now I'm in the wild east of Essex, which is next door to London, which is basically an extension of London in some respects, because most of the people that work in London are from Essex. So, yeah. I don't know English cities. Well, funnily enough, there's a city that is nearer to me now than there was about a month and a half ago, and that is the city of Southend-on-Sea, which has been granted city status after the unfortunate killing of a MP. In his honour, because he was always campaigning to have the Southend-on-Sea made into a city. They granted it in the wake of his death. So, blood for the blood god. So, yeah, bless him. But yes, yeah, there you go. That's the nearest city to me right now, because it's like, well, actually, technically there's two cities. There's Chelmsford and then there's Southend-on-Sea. So I'm sort of in the middle of the two of them. So 10 miles either way. There you go. Although technically Southend's not 10 miles. The city limits, as it's now known. I've been looking up poses for 28mm Knight Atrapos, not finding much inspiration where to come up with my own. Actually, do you see the ones in the I think it's actually a Acheron pose. It's the ones they've got in the showroom in Forge World store in Warhammer World. So if Kirill's up there, if you can take some pictures of the knights next time you're up there, and you can send them to Rob, it might give it, because I'm sure it's the Acheron one. It's a very dynamic sort of pose to it, and I think Rob could pull it off. And the 18 Moirax is so teeny, the camera doesn't lock on. Yeah, no, yeah. As you notice, it's so normally I have to sort of hold them up like that. So, we can't hear that now, thankfully. Sorry. Yeah, it's so fluffy. God, I love that meme scene. So you're from London. Yeah. Rob's from Amsterdam. You have a worldwide audience, Lee. Yeah, yeah, Rob, you're like my favourite Dutchman. Although technically, if Sanders still around, Sanders a pretty cool Dutch boy as well. So I love him too. Oh geez, I hate how he always seems to take a death before things. Yeah, but it's the way of the world. It seems unfortunate, but yeah, he just seems, when you say it like that, it does seem like it only took somebody to die to be made a city. There you go. See, Kirill's your man, Rob. He's got the pictures. He's got the technology. He's going to be sending you those delicious pictures. There is definitely one that's a really quite dynamic pose, and I wish that I saw it before building one of my knights. Rob can pull off an Atrapos doing the old the old crotch grab. That's the second choker of the evening. Mouse bait and now Luke. Oh dear. Yeah, so as I was trying to say repeatedly times now, everyone. Yeah, so with the Black Library stuff that was released earlier, so you had the books that they've got released out or coming out, sort of thing. But did you see the artwork for the next Siege of Terror book, where you've got loads of like Khornate berserkers and I think it's Sons of Horus in a very strange colour. Well, it could be Alpha Legion, but I don't see that somehow. I don't know. Weird colours, but yeah, and they're all surging towards this stairway, and there's a huge gate door, and in front of it is the angel, and he's standing there looking at them, going, "I'm gonna fuck you up." He looks a little bit worn, a little battered, but as you would expect, he's been fighting continuously for like months now. But it's the one that Aaron has written. So, although there's no name for it as of yet, I do know that Aaron was having thoughts on names, but obviously he's got to find one that sticks, and then obviously it'll be called a name. Yeah, the artwork looks really, really cool. As Neil Roberts, so he does the best work. And I say that because I'm involved with Neil in a torrid affair between me, him, and Graham McNeil. It's been going on for years now. We're fairly open with it. Unashamed. Oh. Go in place, my little beauties. Get that going on there. So yeah, sorry, I'm going back again. So the new models that they showed off, Fafnir Ran and Dominion Sephon of the Blood Angels, bringer of sorrow himself. So what are your opinions of these new plastic models they're bringing out for characters involved in the book series in particular? Because obviously Sephon first appeared in Master of Mankind. He's been in a couple of short stories as well in between. So he may even be in this new one because he's Aaron's character. So Aaron created him. You would have thought that he would write about him. With that monkey, the Sapien, with his scorpion tail weapon appendage. Because obviously all monkeys were like that at one stage. They had a weapon attached to their tail. That was top. I still remember top of page 33 in Master of Mankind. The first paragraph is just the bestest thing ever. Where they're talking about Arkenland, the renowned techno, not archivist. He's like Indiana Jones basically, and he's loved by the Custodes because of all the wonderful toys that he's found for them over the years with his exploits and explorations, and giving them grav vehicles. They love him for that. But he has this monkey called Sapien, and it's this paragraph saying about one of his peers said, "Oh, I believe the tail was actually when they were indigenous to Terra." They used the tail as a prehensile tool, so they can actually grab and hang from branches and that. And basically, Arkenland was like, "Yeah, that's crap." It was obviously a armor-piercing weapon appendage. It's just when they do things from the past and then just like little flip. It's always hilarious. Like, oh, he's talking rubbish. It was obviously had intents to be used as a weapon. So it's like when you have like what was it? A Shakespeare. They mention like all these like great writers and stuff, and they just changed the name or changed some letters and stuff. That the Blood Angel and the Imperial Fleet. Yes, I missed the stream, saw the pick. Love the IF. BA is meh, in my opinion. It reminds me of that pose is basically Shrike or the Raven Guard character from Death Watch game thing they brought out. The ones. Space Marines precariously balanced on a thing that's what Eldar do, or Eldari, sorry. They very lightweight, stick on a bit of ruin and all that. Space Marines, no. I'm not that keen on the Blood Angel as well. I love the character. Zephon is awesome, but the model isn't. Yeah, it's not really. Yeah, it's just, and plus he doesn't look like Zephon. Zephon is meant to be. It's basically meant to look like Louis out of Interview with a Vampire. You know, like young Louis with the long hair and very sort of that little sort of want away look sort of thing. As it was sort of implied in his description, but now he's dark-haired vampire. So it's not, yeah, it's not how I saw him either. I didn't know originally he was meant to be looking like Louis. I always envisioned him as sort of blonde-haired, like his gene sire, you know, and had that sort of angelic look. Doesn't look angelic in that. He looks demonic. Yeah, so he's a not. I would kit bash my own version. So yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's a shame. But Fafnir does look. He's impressive, and I know so many people, especially Spaceballs players, who are going to buy it and convert it to a Wolf Lord or something, because he has that magnificent beard. Not 100% sold on the beard. May has. Whoa, wow. Yeah, Land Raider. Yeah. Then again, I have no Marines. Last time I painted Space Marine was when I was a red shirt 20 years ago. Bloody hell. Very Hotel Mysteries, yeah. And yeah. So it's, I don't get Space Marines precariously balanced if they've got a jetpack. It does not work. You know, you either put them on a flying base or you have them sort of running and sort of like, or sort of semi-leaping from the floor, not I'm on a branch or on a twig or on Felix, dun dun dun. I honestly God thought he was pole dancing on the buff. I realised it was like a sword. It was like Bosch, less Rembrandt. Hey Felix, lovely to see you again, dude. Welcome back. I hope you are well, my friend. And are you working? You always seem to be working or away or whatever, doing stuff. So, side bits. Beard feels a little cartoony for my liking. It's very cool, but seems very arcane inspired. Arcane, I finished that last night. So good. Although apparently it took 6 years to make that. But obviously now they've got more money, and so they can make them quicker. Get more artists and stuff like that. But it was such a good series. Really enjoyable. So yeah, everyone, Arcane, watch it. It's awesome. So different. It's very reminiscent for me. It kind of reminded me of BioShock Infinite, which I loved BioShock games. So as well as like Halo, as we were saying earlier on, BioShock games I really enjoyed, but BioShock Infinite was one of my favourites. The story in there and the whole aesthetic of Columbia was just amazing. I'm actually thinking about replaying it again. It's been a while, so I might just play that because yeah, I would say like playing Bioshocks are cool, but I just love the whole, that sort of steampunk-esque feel to Infinite. And Booker DeWitt. Right. Yeah. Right. What else? Be right back. Getting my guns from the free. Getting my guns from the freezer? Alright, okay, yeah. I had to realign the barrels. No worries. I was and will be again in a few hours, and then if all goes well, home tomorrow, maybe 3 weeks off. Nice. Well worth the wait, mate. Yes, it really was. Art style a bit like Bioshock, Dishonored, and Borderlands. Yeah. I can see, definitely Borderlands. Yeah, like a lot of that neon stuff, especially like in the underworld part, where you have all those sort of like the bars and all that sort of stuff. Jinx and Vi were just great, characters. There's some shocks in there, but it is definitely worth watching. You cannot go too far wrong in the old entertainment stakes. Right, so just let them sort themselves out. I've got a beer outside, so I'm just going to grab the beer. I have returned with beer. It's a good thing about winter. Beer stay cold when outside. Right. Where's my paint? There's paint. And you can hear I have ball bearings going off in. Because you bloody need it with Corax White. I admit, like this lid, I've cleaned this lid out probably a dozen times. It just chalks up and dear, oh dear, oh dear. Quickly, has beers outside, free drinks. Yeah, suddenly I was like, what's going on outside? Where have all these people come from? Let me see. Have I got any plastic with me? Ah, I have got a Moirax, sorry. So with the Moirax, well, there you go. So Volkite, 2 dice, strength 4, Void Breaker, 8 range, 16 long, Void Breaker 1. So if you score a hit, you get an additional hit. Yes, Corax White, yeah. The Guise Siege Claw, again 2-inch range, +1 to hit, close range. Of course, the only range you can hit. 1 dice 6, the melee rending, then a lightning lock, +1 to hit at up to 8 inches, which isn't too shabby. 14-inch max range, 1 dice, strength 5, rending. Unfortunately, I can't remember what rending does, so sorry. So everyone in the chat, if you've got a rule book to hand, let us know what rending does in AT, because it's not the same as what happens in the old 40k. Right. shoot only broke 2, using debonder on 2 more to help, and 2 are not bent enough to bond with. My Volkite Eradicators, I have 8. They didn't go on straight due to a silly bit missed. Alright. That's unfortunate. And obviously it's a shame that you sort of got some of them done before realising, because that's the real gutting thing, isn't it? You know, when you go, oh Jesus, I've done all that and I've done it, I've got to do it this way, which is frustrating and annoying in equal measures. Yeah, but yeah, Corax White, as I say, changing their trying to get their bloody things on the lids, and just gunks up in no time, it feels like. So Corax White, which I have watered down a smidge. Just so it goes on a lot smoother. It doesn't really matter getting a smooth coat at this stage, because you just want a token coat on the model. Because we're going to be going over it with Agrax anyway. Because this is how I do things, people. Get in there. Well, at least they're not been primed. Yeah, no, that's that is a blessing, mouse. Corax is horrible for that. I have shaped mine for about 10 minutes, but I use it for marble white base coat. Yeah, I use Corax white over every other white. I've got White Scar, I've got Ceramite, but it's the perfect for me. It's the perfect white for what I do. Yeah, it was something I did notice. Well, I did it instinctively myself, was to denote between the sort of like commander type scion dude, was to put that ringed one on the opposite side to the other two. So it just makes it, I suppose it makes it easier to identify. That's my theory anyway. For any other white, I just use dead white from Vallejo. Never tried that. I might see, but as I say, I use Corax for so much, I don't think I'll ever use another white, really. But then having a good, like pure white, can help out with, you know, lightening certain bits you want that little bit extra tone to. So never say never. But I don't think no, I don't think I've got any Vallejo. I've got some P3 paints. Or I might have, I don't know. I don't know what paints I got. I don't keep track of them, master. Get that on there. So is everybody's hobbying going as well as mine? Any major headaches so far for you guys? Maybe got too much there. Right, so they're all done. Oh wow, rending is different. It's if armor rolls for rending weapon is a 6, roll D3 and it's a result. Oh, that's not too shabby. Admittedly, you're only getting 1 dice roll on those weapons there, but you know, strength 5 and you get a D3, so you minimum 6, maximum 8 plus angle. So yeah, it can be quite effective if you get lucky. I use Vallejo whites, and if I want an actual real white, I use Warhammer Weekly Vince's trick and add in white ink. Yeah, I saw somebody who uses white ink instead of just white, so I've never done any ink work as such, so I have no idea. Slowly wrapping up a long-standing auto-reductor tank conversion. Nice. See, that's what I did way back with the first book, where auto-reductor was at the back with Caleb Decima, Phalanx, and then you had the reductor land raiders. I actually done a conversion where I had a land raider, but in its sponson for the whole mounted heavy bolter would go, twin heavy bolter would go. I actually put a big claw thing with an arm to represent the machinate array. So basically, it was like a big servo arm, which I got from what's the crab walker defiler. A friend of mine, Nikki Loftus. She used to work in a friendly gaming store, and they actually had a defiler sent into them. Returned to them because it was there was a mismold, so they got shifted back, and so she basically sent it to me. I actually used part of it for the base of, without her knowing, for the base of her Warhound Titan I built and painted for her. It was a good few years ago. It was for her 30th birthday, and all of our friend group all chipped in and bought her a Warhound because there's a Warhound in a Dan Abnett book called Titanicus, which some people may have known, and there's a Warhound for Legio Invicta that is called Morbius Sire. Morbius Sire is Nikki. She's a Titan. She's a Warhound. And so we all chipped in, and basically I said I'll paint and build and paint it. And the bits that she sent me for my auto reductor Land Raider, grabby, I used the rest of the bits as because I've done a base for it, for putting on the base. So it's like dead enemy type thing. So it worked out fine. And she was happy with it. Still is. I've also done her the AT version one as well, which was not bad. But then they brought out the Legio Invicta colour scheme in the Sabbat War Crusade book, and they had like Caliban green accents in parts of the red. So like you're mostly red, but you have little bits with this green. I thought, bugger. Yeah. Oh, it's a brilliant white ink. Will change your life. Something I'll look into. Any suggestions of what white ink? Any particular brands? You know, like a Winsor and Newton or something like that? I don't know. Building an imp knight based on some artwork of a guardsman and a knight, both with... Oh, that? You're doing that? Oh, you magnificent bastard, you. Because like that Michael Jackson crotch shot, you will pull it off. Oh, that's gonna be awesome. Yeah, the Reductor Land Raiders before the Macronid Mini came. Yeah, but where is the Macronid? You can't get them anymore. Not that people were buying them, because to be fair, they were bloody expensive, and it was I don't know. I as a Mechanicum player, I would just been happy with like converting Land Raiders. One cost, but still. Because I always had this thing, like many years ago, where I thought if they wanted to do a new faction for 40k, Mechanicus would be the easiest thing to do, because basically Mechanicus make everything. So they can have Land Raiders, they can have Chimeras, they can have rhinos, whatever, and maybe just having a simple upgrade sprue. So all the technology is there for GW. Say, okay, we'll just put a rhino and this sprue. That's all we need, and then and we can do these things and we can do those things. Obviously, make some characters, some Magos and stuff, and expand a little on certain other things. But you had everything there. But the Mechanicus stuff now is pretty badass and awesome anyway. We do love them. Okay, either these slots are off or the weapon barrel on the website is on backwards. Bit of the slot fits into is off, and they're just bloody not straight. Hair drying it, forcing it in. Can you not just leave the bit off? Are these for the Reavers, the Volkite Eradicators? Data round is standard, but I've used Liquitex as well. Right, okay. Almost done, but realise that the elbow section of the fist for another night. Had to buy an arm section. Yeah, Mechanicus should have had access to everything, as well as they've been awesome. Plus upgrade spirit, yeah. Not that the machines they have aren't great too, but I'd rather say more. Yeah, well, that's they make the bloody things, So surely you can say, yeah, we really like this. We'll have that, and oh fuck, I haven't done that one. I might have watered it down a little bit too much. Corax the saviour of the world. Dramaticness. Much drama. Much drama. So, drama. Get in there, son. I suppose in some respects how watered down this is, it's almost ink worthy anyway. But you're not losing the pigment. It's all about the pick. Things I do to entertain myself. Hashtag everything is an orc kit. Yeah. Yeah, for the Warhounds, they're just a bit fiddly. Yeah. Yeah. I think I read the Goonhammer thing when they were talking about Volkites, and obviously the Volkite Destructors for Warlords were considered pretty decent. But I'm such a huge fan of the Vulcan Mega Bolter, so I will always have generally a Vulcan Mega Bolter plus something heavy hitting. That's how I roll. But that's the thing, is like when you're making like these weapons, you've got to have something about them that will go, well, okay, it's cheaper than that, or it's got better range. You know, you've got to give reasons for people to take them. But rule of cool is always the most important factor with any sort of weapon. So Volkites do look cool. So pure win in my estimation there, Mousebait. Looks at Corn Lord of Skulls and Gorkanaut kits waiting. What are you going to do with those kits, though? Do the Warhound and Reaver Volkites have any real advantages? As I said, I think most people, like with Warhounds, the Vulcan Mega Bolter is cheap and excellent shield stripper, and that's what you use it for. And with the lower grade, if the other, I don't know if the Eradicators or the Reaver ones, sorry, I don't know if they get beam. I know the Destructor gets beam, because beam is brilliant. Just for that, you know, power up the reactor, get a beam shot, and you can just basically, I'm shooting you here, and I don't have to roll for it because it's an auto hit. Beam is wonderful. Now, if beam is on those two, then that would swing it for me. But if those two haven't got beam, then you're not really doing anything different, and you're going to go for a Vulcan Mega Bolter in general, unless you want a cool looking weapon, because they are cool looking weapons. But they should have beam. If the big one's got beam, the small one should have beam. Yeah, so that was one of the things with one of the first Volkite Destructors I built. I put out for my my Ordo Sinister, because the Sinistorum Tenebrae is a beam weapon, and that bypasses shields. So if you shoot somebody with a Tenebrae, bypassing shields with the shot, and you get 2 crits on the body, say, the shields come down, and you've done 4 damage, which is probably going to be +1, +2 if it's a Warhound onto the body. And then you hit them with a Volkite with beam, and you're getting +2 to the strength, so it's strength 8. Beam weapon to the body. So yeah, and however many shots you get, so 3 shots, because you don't get Void Breaker, I don't think, because obviously you're bypassing shields, so the shields are gone. So yes, it is a good little finishing weapon for sure. Right. So this is what's next, is my watered down mixture of Agrax and water. Give it a good old shaky, shaky, shaky. And this is going over it all. Because then that ties in with the gold, ties in with the green, it fills in nicely against the white. Just don't be scared. And go with a brush against the sort of lobster plate, because you want it to sort of settle in the gap against each plate. Yes, this also, with this watered down Agrax, does help to sort of just tone the green a bit as well. And let's go around. He has the growly voice. Just let them dry. Nice, sweet duns. Right. Yeah, I'm liking them more as Veroni. So I guess my plan is now to do a larger Veroni contingent of knights, because I think that having lots of little dudes running around the table is going to be pretty fun. Because why not? There's always that thing as well. It's like, if you're playing somebody and you're taking out the most silliest army going, it's that fear factor that you're going to beat them with said army. I recall the second Tyrannus Owners Club meet, which was basically 4 people. That was me, Ben Greaves, my friends Matt Potter, and my friend Mike, who was using my knights because he hadn't built any yet as of then. And we were having a head-to-head battle 10 knights each side, plus a Reaver Titan with Iracundus versus Stevie. And this is obviously, you had the new knights with the with the Icarus cannons on the roof, or the missile pods and all that sort of stuff. And it was the paranoia that someone would kill a knight with an anti-aircraft cannon shot. And it's like, okay, I'm firing the Icarus at you. You go, no. And I score a hit, because obviously it was the hit ground target. It was increased to your ballistic skill to hit, or modifier to hit. So obviously you use harder to hit with an 8 mount. But it was like, I scored a hit, and you go, no, don't have the strength to kill me, sort of thing. And there was a real fear that don't you dare kill me with that. That was like the weakest weapon on a knight. Well, I suppose a stubber is, but a stubber is a ground thingy. Being shot by an anti-aircraft weapon is just insulting for a ground target. But yeah, he was that close to killing one of my knights. Luckily, he didn't wound, because it would have died, which wouldn't have been fun, and it would have been a story, which I have retailed to you now. I have regaled you with that. But yeah, so I'm definitely enjoying the look. I am so much, actually feel within myself, I am so much happier now with the little Veroni look. So just let them dry off a little bit more before going over on the white again, just to lift it back up again. Gosh. Yes. This is all good. Nice. So have you all got your Christmas shopping done? Did any of you participate in the Hobby Vices, like Christmas, birthday, secret birthday purchaser thingy? I know a couple of people. It was Lass Hammer, who was on earlier on. I know she's done one. My friend Simon Winter also participates in that. Like one year, I thought a year before last, and the guy who was his Secret Santa, oh my god, he got some really good White Scars stuff. Like I think he got like the new Speeder had just come out, that and a few other bits and pieces. Like wow, I don't know what the rules are with the secret shop if you've got to spend X amount on it, but this person really did get him some really nice stuff. It was like, wow, that's really sort of like good. But I'd always be paranoid that I didn't get enough stuff. I know you're not buying from the same person, like the person you're buying for isn't buying for you, but I think that's how it works. But yeah, it's just like, wow, that is. Yeah, I would say I'm too busy buying stuff for myself, to be honest. I'm too selfish. Oh dear. Right. One thing I actually have to do is cables. Now, I don't know if any of you guys may have noticed, but like this here is meant to be my Basilicanum Grey, but I bought some more Basilicanum Grey, and the Basilicanum Grey that I bought is definitely more grey. I also found I've got 2 Shyless Purples. I don't know why I've got 2 Shyless Purples. But sometimes you just go in and go, oh, I don't think I've got that. And then next minute, oh, I have got that. Yeah, Shyless Purple. 2 shyness purples. We've got 2 Leviathan blues as well. Where are you? I've just been worried that I've got with this other Basilicanum Grey, because obviously the one that I've been using. Oh, there it is, right bloody next to it. That one's definitely more grey than what that one is. So I'm just wondering if I got contrast. Where's that? Come on. That's Leviathan blue. I don't want Leviathan blue. No, Gore Grunter. Black Panther. And then that is definitely grey compared to Black Templar. But the other grey, which is again Basilicanum, is a lot greyer. Give it a stir. I mean, somebody has to expand the leisures. For me, it's Night Haunt Gloom for rubber cables. Covers any colour in one coat, and shade with Agrax and dry brush with Untitled. Mostly yellow for now. Procon Fire, yeah. Yeah, I've done yellow cables on some of my nights, but since I've gotten more into Basilicanum, especially with the light coloured nights. But yeah, yellows, Avalon Sunset I would normally use. But let's see how this goes. Yeah, I didn't bother with the shim on the weapons. Just way too small. I'll tell you what, a couple of beers does make a big difference to being able to see when painting. It's always a problem. It's one of those problems you have to face. Looks like there was So, also, how many of you will be getting the new Space Marine 2? once it comes out on PC, Xbox or PS5. Because I know that I'm going to be getting it because I absolutely freaking love that game. And I'm just hoping that they've got the chapter creator option in there as well, because that was just a game in its own, just recreating new sort of looks and all that. And it would be perfect for them to do their microtransaction bullshit. But yeah, if you can basically buy yourself, I'd be happy to buy, you know, a scheme. You know, like they've done with, like, they had Black Templar skins, Salamander skins came out, veteran sort of armor pieces, and you know, it really did give a really great look to your multiplayer character anyway. Because that's what it was all about. You do the campaign, and then you're running around killing Chaos Marines. And I say, like, I really wish, like, because I've still got the game on 360, but I don't have a working 360, so I can't. And because they never made it backward compatible, I can't play it on a Xbox One, which is an arse. Because I would have been playing that on Xbox One, and where I've mentioned on social media last year, in fact, I mentioned about why can't we have it, you know, why can't we have this game again, or just modernize it for better graphics and stuff, or the ability for backwards compatibility to play it on an Xbox One. But instead they brought out a new version with a new Titus. And I say, with Rollo doing the voice instead of Mark Strong, I'm happy with that, because Clive, whatever his name is quite a good actor. Obviously, he's not as recognisable, like, vocally as like Mark Strong, but he's still got the skills. Got it where it matters. Yeah, it seems very grey. The one that I have is almost, yeah. My first one I showed, it was like quite blackish. It was a black grey, which I really liked. But this one is a lot greyer in comparison. But on these smaller dudes, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, really. It's definitely workable. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I'll get it. Just hope it's not a money grab. Many publishers have been pretty poor with games in the last few years. Well, looking at the game in-game footage, it's the same as Space Marine, and I'm happy with that. I really enjoyed. No, it's not Clive Owen. No, it's he played Rollo in Vikings. I think it begins with an S, his surname. It's bugging me. No, I can't think. But yeah, no, I just enjoyed that game. The aesthetic was fine. The background, I've actually used the backgrounds for photoshopping like models. If you can get a good sort of Vista screen cap or whatever, without Space Marine standing in it, definitely worth it. I had Space Marine on PC. I have Space Marine on PC and PS3. I still play it occasionally. I hope Space Marine 2 comes out soon. I'd hope so. I use Basilicon Grey quite often for weapons housings. Most guns in real life are not shiny silver. Yeah. Yeah, I tried to... I went through a phase of doing like bolt gun or lead belcher. And then obviously giving it lots of known to sort of tone it down. And then I went through a phase of doing them grey, and then just picking out the maybe the barrel a little bit, and then washing them. Clive Standen, yeah, Rollo. And if there's one thing, right? There's because I love Vikings like Lagertha, Ragnar, Bjorn Ironside. And it was just a great, it might not be wholly accurate. They obviously touched on a lot of things that did actually happen, but obviously it's not 100% accurate with certain things. But such a great series. There was a little bit of a change, obviously, once certain things happened in like mid-seasons. I think there were about 6-7 seasons. But there was stuff there that I wasn't aware of. They covered quite a lot of interesting points throughout that sort of time period. Obviously, finding Iceland and Greenland for one, and the Rus, the Russian Vikings from the Ukraine, basically, which is the Ukraine. It's, again, I've probably mentioned this before in the previous live streams, but basically, with England, back before it was England, when we were kept on getting invaded by certain people. So obviously there was I think it was 4 major invasions of the British Isles. So you had the Romans kicked it all off, invading, settling, doing stuff. The whole Boudica and her Iceni tribe, and trying to fight it, and they've done quite well, but they failed, unfortunately, because of the organisation of the Romans. And then after the Romans left, we got the Angles and the Saxons turn up, and they take over and become part of the sort of the people living here. And then you get the Vikings turn up. So with like Ragnar Lothbrok turning up, and they conquered quite a lot of the country that was England, or to be called England one day. It wasn't called England then, but because England didn't come till much later. So for the most part, so not including Wales and not including Scotland, the English part of Great Britain was split in half, or maybe 2/3 to the Danes and 1/3 for the Britons, or Saxons, sorry, or Anglo-Saxons. And it was all down to Wessex with Ethelwulf and obviously his son Alfred, who became great because he drove them back. He kicked them out eventually, after much sort of stuff that went on, fighting and parleying and all that sort of business. And Alfred was to try and unify the different kingdoms, so Northumbria, Mercia, Anglia, and Wessex, under one rule, and that would eventually become England, or England. But obviously the Viking, the Norse, and mostly the Danes and the Norse, who were on Viking, because Viking is what they were doing. We call them Vikings, but they were going on a trip, which they called going Viking, basically. So they went back. In the meantime, Rollo and his posse conquered France, took Paris, and as part of sort of the paying off of them to leave Paris, they were given a large tract of land out on the west coast of then France, or Gaul, or whatever it was, and they settled and they mingled and bred with the people there, and the place was called Normandy. And a few generations later, there was a guy called William, who was the leader of the Normans. So basically, they were of Danish descent. So William the Conqueror was a direct descendant of Rollo, and he came over with the Normans and conquered England. So the Danes, in a roundabout way, and after evolution, finally got the job done. So the British aristocracy, who was for many years, would only speak French. So if you was of a noble birth, you were speaking French and visited people in French and relatives and whatever in France. But they were basically French Vikings or French Danes intermingled. So yeah, there you go, a little history lesson there for you. So yeah, so they got the job done, and the British royal family and all that sort of jazz is descendant from the Danes and some French people and some Germans, because they're all intermingled as royal families are. Yes, amazing series. Kind of dropped off towards the end, but get what they wanted to show, all the Sun storylines. Yeah, like obviously Siegfried didn't get much in the series, I don't think, but obviously the other sons did. So Ivan Boneless, Bjorn Ironside, which was obviously his first son with Lagertha. Lagertha isn't actually a known character, I don't think. They know the father, not the mother, in that respect, sort of thing. Fitzurk and the other one, which I can't remember at this time. But they did have a really good thing. The new series is better to be like all the old heroes. So it's like Valhalla. So I don't know how that's going to work, but be interesting to see some old faces like Floki, and obviously Bjorn and Ragnar. Uber. It was Uber. Yeah, Uber. Although, have you ever seen The Last Kingdom by Bernard Cornwell? The TV series that is actually really good, and that he does like with Sharp. He will find a character or a name or something that was around at the time, and then basically see all these historical events through their eyes, sort of thing, which is really cool. Uhtred, son of Uhtred, the Saxon, Viking, Norse, Dane dude. I've seen Norsemen. I started watching it, and I think because I'd been watching Vikings, it probably had a negative effect to me. Yeah, it was funny, but I didn't watch it as I would if I watched it without watching Vikings, because obviously Vikings is more serious. It is obviously Norsemen is funny, but I don't know. I think I was just so hooked up on what was going on in Vikings. I'll probably go back to it and give it a go, because sometimes you do that. You start a show, you think, I'm not too sure on this, and then you go back to it. It's the best thing ever. The Norse raids were mini-series, came to settle, some just a raid, some to huge amounts of language influence from them, yeah, aka Normandy. It's amazing that they took up French rather than keeping Norse, even though Norman French was influenced greatly. Yeah. Northman, yep. Floki the boat builder. It was one of the Skarsgårds, one of the many Skarsgårds, who's brilliant. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Everyone knows, like over here, it's like the Battle of Hastings, where obviously the Normans defeated Harold Gudmundsson or whatever his name is. But yeah, he obviously, not a lot of people knew that he'd marched north to fight the Danes, and then marched all the way back down to face the Normans. And they got done with a feint, and they fell for the and they opened their gates of their fortifications, came out, and they got rowed down, and he got an arrow through the face, as you do. But yeah, yeah, and that's the thing with warfare. Is any advantage is an advantage. It's like, again, it's like with the Battle of Waterloo, where they had the English was set up behind the hill, and they basically encouraged the cavalry to come out, and they changed from like the diamonds to the squares, and that's the thing. If you're facing one, it's easier against cavalry, to fight cavalry, and they just basically just timed it perfectly for this horse cavalry charge to come over. They done the old switcheroo and deployed differently and just cut them all down. Yeah, there was a whole thing as well, Mousebait, with, because the king who was dying, I'll give the king. Apparently, he promised the kingship to William, and that was the whole thing for William coming over, was that, as far as he was concerned, it had been promised to him, and then he give it to Harold instead, or Harold took it, or whatever, on the deathbed. So you can't blame, they could have used it as an excuse. It could have been complete bullshit, but in that respect, dude turns up and took advantage of Harold having to. Godwinson, there you go. Yeah, Godwinson. Yeah, it's one of those names that it goes with a G. Yeah, but say, like, with the whole, like, Rollo, Edward the Confessor, there was a show which I think you might see on like BBC America called "Who Do You Think You Are," which focuses on people when they go back through their family trees. Well, there's an actor over here called Danny Dyer. Now, you might have seen him in certain British sort of like gangland movies and stuff. Or there was a film in the 90s called Human Traffic, or early 2000s called Human Traffic, with John Sims, and Danny Dyer's first film when he was playing this young guy called Moth, who liked to say, "Nice one, brother! Nice one, brother! Nice one!" And talk about drug culture and all that stuff. Well, he has been a bit of a celebrity over here since then, and been on like popular TV soaps, EastEnders, and all that sort of shit. They done him, and you can see it on YouTube if you search for Danny Dyer. Who do you think you are? And when you're seeing this reveal, it's just like, oh my god, because this guy is from like the East End of London, proper like Canning Town. He's a Canning Town boy, He's like proper like apples and pears, Cockney rhyming slang and all that sort of stuff. and they're going through. All right, yeah, here you go. You may have heard this name, the Plantagenet. Well, no, I got no clue, mate. No clue. Well, Plantagenets, yeah. So like, Edward the Eighth and stuff like this. And he's like, huh? And they go back and like, or whatever. But he goes back. He's a direct descendant of Edward the Confessor, and it's like, oh my god. And he's like, oh my god, I've got to get myself a ruff, stuff like that. Like he's just like, this is bonkers. I'm a kid from the East End, and I'm related to like royalty. So that was pretty like amazing. They took it one stage further. He done a series of shows, like 3 episodes, where they went from Edward the Confessor and they took his family tree back further. So obviously he's got Henry II and Eleanor of Aquitaine are relatives of his. The power couple of that era, the richest couple on the planet. Yeah, he's related to them. Richard, King Richard the Lionheart was obviously, that was them lot as well. But they could only take it back as far, obviously, William the Conqueror, and then to Rollo. And they couldn't take it back any further than Rollo because there's no information about Rollo. They know of him. They know he was from the north, but they don't know if he's Danish. They don't know if he was Swedish or if he was Norwegian. They don't know. All countries claim him to be from there. They just don't know. And these shows were really interesting because what he would do would choose one of these ancestors and then dress up and live like it for a day, like eating their food and dressing living where they live, sort of thing. So obviously he went out to like a place in Denmark, lived in a recreated sort of Viking town, sort of thing, and ate some of their food that they would have eaten, all that sort of stuff. And then he's done like living in like Tudor times or whatever. But one of his other relatives was like this French king who was like renowned for being like the most pious king of France, sort of thing, and he was responsible for building this church. Well, he didn't build it himself. He got the builders to build it, but he built this church specifically to hold what they believe was the crown of thorns. So, like in their Holy of Holies, this crown of thorns was meant to be placed, locked away in this church in Paris. And Danny Dyer's gone out there to walk around France, around Paris, and go to this church. And because he is a direct descendant, they allowed him to go into certain areas of the church that only like archbishops can go into. So like this like where they had this pulpit type thing or whatever, there was this certain area above that only, as I said, like the archbishop of the area could go in, or the pope, sort of thing. But because he is a direct blood descendant of this king, they said, oh yeah, you can go up there because you are. So he's like, oh wow, this is amazing. So he's just like standing somewhere a little bit fancy. But what they also did as well is that this particular king, like King Louis XIV or whatever his name was, they actually had a garment, his like nightgown. They had it preserved in this glass case along with several other items of his, and they said, "Oh, because you are a direct blood descendant, you are allowed to touch this garment," sort of thing. You have to wear gloves, but you are allowed to. We can open this case open, and you can actually touch this item of clothing that your great 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 grandfather wore. And you're watching it going, but it's Danny Dyer. How can he have such a cool history? It's Danny Dyer. He's a boy from Canning Town. But he was just like, and he might have been playing up for the camera, but you just like, you see this like look on his face. It's like, I can't believe this. This is bonkers. I'm like, I'm descendant from kings. But yeah, it's just absolutely crazy how they've tracked it all back and all that sort of thing. But it just goes to show, like, people forget over time. They forget where they're from, and to find that out was just funny, hilarious, and just bonkers completely. I love those shows where modern people go and live in ancient villages, Bronze Age, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it is. It's fun. I think it's like that sort of the voyeuristicness that of doing those sort of things, like us watching them go into those sort of situations. And just like interesting, like, how would you survive? Would you survive in this situation? No, I'd probably catch fire or something. There's no fire around. Yeah, but I would just burst into flames or something. I don't know. I'd give it a good go, but who knows? I don't. But yeah, as you can probably tell, I love history. Love the learning of stuff, and reading those little news feed things that lure you in all the time. Love all that, and we can learn a lot. Learn a lot from our past. Yes. Let's get this on. Scratch it in. And there. Oh, I'm actually because this coming Wednesday. Normally, as you know, I do Artist Empire live stream, but unfortunately Scott's going to be away next week, so it won't be a live stream. But I'm actually thinking about doing another hobby hangout midweek just for a change, because I enjoy talking to people. So we'll have an impromptu hobby hangout or something midweek probably. Let's see how that goes. So if you're hobbying during the week, always feel free to come in. Obviously, if you like and subscribe, it's always appreciated. I'd love to try it too. It's real cosplay or whatever you call it. Reenactment or just basically just live role play. But that was for me, live role play is running around a field with latex weapons and twatting people, which is what it's all about, really. So much fun. Used to do that when I was a younger man, striding the fields with many thousands of people there, all dressed up as fantasy characters and going around for a big battle after like it was a 4-day event called the Gathering, and you would get several thousand people up there for this weekend in like August bank holiday over here. So Friday to Monday, the bank holiday Monday. So you'd have 3 days of like role playing, going around, making connections with other factions, trying to sort out little non-aggression treaties or whatever, or you might have to go on a quest for something. Like I got in my first year, I was a drow, so dark elf, so jet black face, white hair, so painted your face and sprayed your hair with white hair paint, or wore a wig, and I was given a position within my house of a war leader. But because of the amount of people, you got so many people could be like one level rank, and then the next one down would be a lower rank, then lower rank. So I was a rank 3. So I was actually quite high for a war leader. I was actually quite high because of the amount of people we had with us. So I benefited from that because the house weapons master, who should have been my superior, was also rank 3. So it was quite funny, really, because I was just a war leader and he was the house weapon master. But we were the same rank because we were given a group of us was asked to go on a quest. So many houses sent their finest warriors to go on a quest for Drow Slayer, a sword of legend that would kill. If it hit a drow, the next nearest 10 drow also die. So it's like, yeah, we don't want anybody to have this weapon. So we want it so we can keep it safe so nobody can use it against us. And we went on this quest. And as we're walking along, the guy who was taking us down there was the weapons master of the first house, which was House Garashen. And I was part of House Mlazir. We were basically the third house. There was, I can't remember the second house was that year, but we were the third house ranking sort of thing. And this war weapons master basically said, okay, who's going to be in charge of you lot on this mission? Shout out your ranks. And me and my friend Nick, who was my house weapon master, were both rank 3. So we've gone 3 and he's gone 3. Everyone else was 2s and mostly 1s. And the guy looked at us between me and Nick. He goes, oh, you're the better looking one, you be in charge. So he gave it to me. So I was the group leader of this task force, and I was basically given seniority over my house weapon master to go on this quest. It was basically us going around faffing about, taking encounters and reenacting scenes from Monty Python, The Holy Grail, or even Life of Brian. It went off. But we went on this quest, and we found out some clues. We didn't find a sword there. I don't think we was meant to, but we got some clues and hints. And we returned back to our camps, and I had to report to the matron mother of House Garashen. And no word of a lie, I almost pissed myself. It was so intimidating because obviously Drow are a matriarchal society, but they had this. She had this big tent with a porchway sort of thing. So you go in there, stood in this antechamber. Then I was led in to her court. So it was her husband, children. Like they had their kids with them, and they were all drowned up as well. It was fucking awesome. All these other nobles standing there as well, and I had to give this report about our quest to find Drow Slayer. and it just intimidated me so much, and I was literally like so nervous, and being in this person's presence, I literally I could have just pissed myself, honestly. And once it was over, she beckoned me to take some sweetmeats from her jar of basically, it was all sweet candies, but they were like eyeballs and stuff. So have some squeaky eyeballs. So I went, thank you very much, Major Mother. Bow, bow, bow. And just walked on out, and it's like, oh my god. Excellent role playing on her part, because she scared the living bejesus out of me. But later that day, the House Weapon Master Nick entered a duel with the House Weapon Master of House Garashen, Moonstar Mordenar, his name was, and Nick died. So I became the de facto weapons master. So it didn't really matter. So that was fun. What we got here on the chat? Still a stop by indeed. Get that week off. I hobby every evening when possible. Excellent. Very much looking forward to my free 4 days off near Christmas. It's just been quite a time. Like, yeah, we all need a little bit of a break, don't we? And to say, Christmas is still a little bit sort of, manic, but you're at home, you're cooking food, and you're drinking, so it's relaxing in my book. We finished 23rd and not back until January. Oh, you lucky sod. I think I'm the 21st. Well, 21st is my day off, but it's technically our last day at work anyway. But I have to go for the staff meal, which wouldn't be too bad for the fact that I work 40 miles away. So, and it's meant to be a really nice restaurant and stuff. We was meant to go there last year, but obviously COVID. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. And then I'm back in on the 28th. So it's the longest Christmas holiday I've ever had, apart from school. So in my working career, it's the longest time off I've had at Christmas. Also have 7 days holiday to take up, but sadly my entire team has been ill, recovering from operations. That sucks. Went for a few Rents fairs, and we moved to this area. Nothing is really here. That's a bugger. Drow Slayer, cool. Yeah, we never got the sword at the end, but that's the thing. It's like with what I've seen of like American reenactment things. Like my friend on Twitter, Jeff Preston, he's like out in Seattle, and like he moved. I think it was over in like Chicago. Moved out to Seattle to be near his son, but he's like 6'6", man mountain, and like he goes to all these like they have like a whole society of like nightly things, and like he's like some sort of big dude up there, figuratively and actuality. But you see what they do, like having their little courts and stuff like that, which is amazing. Like the role play things over here, that's quite big in places as well. Like they have several big events, different sort of organisations doing these like LARP events and all that. But I saw some pictures from a Russian one, and oh my god, there was like a Warhammer Fantasy one, and demons and all that sort. Oh my god, the armor they had, But then saying that, I fought against guys in full plate mail before, so it's like, if you've got the money and investment and the determination, you can do whatever you want. I was going around with like leather armor, latex breastplate. I had rubber sheeting for like some sort of like armored skirt at one stage, which I had made myself, which was really heavy, and so like obviously you had to have the belt quite tight to keep it up before it would fall down for the weight. Yes. You should have said you are a Princess Majoris and would have overall command. Yes, would be nice. I still only consider myself a Princess Cineris because in my big titans I only have a maniple. I remember there was some guy in one of the hobby group. It was like Ignitum Facebook group I run, and he had a few Titans, and he was going, "Oh, I'm Princess. This makes me Princess Majoris?" I went, "No, you're quite a lot short because Princess Majoris is I would say Demi Legio size. So if you had like a task force of many Titans, then you could be deemed as a Majoris." Um, and he sort of put his nose out of joint because he was being a bit like, "Oh well," and I thought, "All right, whatever, calm down, dude." I have a lot of Titans, but I'm still only technically a Signoris because I only have the one mana pool, in 28 mil. In 18 mil, 80 scale, I have many mana pools, but I still won't say. But yeah, it was just like when you get to people, "Oh, I want to be a Majoris." And you go, "Well, call yourself Majoris if you want, but if you're looking at how these military organisations are set up, you're not. You're a Sonoris. That's pretty awesome anyway, but no, I want to be a Majoris." Yeah, funny people. Yeah, they do skate. Yeah, their stuff is just like, oh my god, it's just amazing. Ball play is as much as nice as a car too. Yeah, I was in I got reprimanded on the Saturday of this event because there'd been a fight going off. Our matron mother, who was going to the toilet out of character, got attacked by her and her entourage. And we were all sitting around, milling around in our camp. Like in our house, we had about 30 odd people in our household, and there was some like mercenaries as well attached to us. So we set up like little like guidelines around our camp sort of thing to protect the walls. And we're all sitting down, like just maybe having a cup of tea, maybe cooking something on a camp stove, and suddenly you hear the matron mother's being attacked. And we went, "What? Matron mother's being attacked?" And like we stood up, looking over, and you see our matron mother running down this hill about 150 meters away from where we camped, coming down from this where these portaloos are, porta potties, running down, like holding her dress, running her betrothed behind her, and one or two troops that had gone with them to protect them coming down as well. And I looked around, and it was like meerkats, because all these heads were like blop 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 blop. And next minute, we're running, grabbing our weapons, and we're running up this hill to come face to face with a load of basically Celts. And a little skirmish started. And unfortunately, this skirmish was right next door to the Celts faction, the Bears and the Dragons factions camps. And so more bears came out, and then more drow came out, and it went on for a couple of hours of these skirmishes and fights and all that. Returned to camp, where my prince was setting up. He was trying to organise a shield wall, so trying to tell people how to do a shield wall, basically. And at this point, I saw a group of Celts coming down again, and they were coming down to the crossing where our camp was. So I said, as war leader, "Dudes, come with me," and we jumped across this ditch to where these Celts were, and went to engage them, but some of the guys went back because they were told, "No, come back here. We're doing a shield wall. Come back here." And so I've turned around, just seen the last of these guys jumping back across the ditch, and I'm on my own as I'm being charged by about 3 or 4 Celts. So I just went surging into them, just like proper sort of like Conan, wading my way through until I got tripped over and then got bundled. Taken off, held hostage, released, went back to my camp, and then got a bollocking for taking the troops away when the prince was trying to create a shield wall. And I'm like, I took the bollocking, like it was in character, but I took the bollocking. But out of character, I was a bit pissed off, thinking I was doing my job. I was defending the base. You know, if this setting up a shield wall in a camp is one thing, we're having guys who are coming down to attack our camp. So, yeah. So I got the hump, and I went down to the beer tent, started having drinks with some people and stuff, and the next minute I'm on a skirmish field with my friend Caroline, and we decided to pick a fight on a large group of knights in full plate, called the Knights Odyssey, and we got our asses handed to us. Which, the funnier thing is that I thought I'd use the terrain to our advantage by having us higher up this hill. I told Caroline to organise the men into a line, sort of thing. I'm going to go down there and pick a fight. And I went down there and started like insulting these knights, and they went, "All right then, let's do ya," sort of thing. And I thought they would run after me. For some reason, I thought they would run after me, but they didn't, because my plan was purely on the fact that they would chase me and tire themselves out a little bit wearing all that plate. They didn't. They marched. And as I sort of turned around to walk up towards my little band of skirmishers, they're all standing there in a line holding hands. And that confused me quite a lot, because I'm thinking, what the hell? Yeah. And as I got there, I'm going, why is everyone holding hands? And Caroline went, well, I wanted them to get a sense of unity. I said, right, pick up your swords, they're coming. And then we fought them, and obviously they had more hit points than we did, and they were better fighters than we were, I suppose. And we got killed. Well, you don't die. You resurrect after a couple of minutes, but they defeated us. But it was funny. Yes, you have got a maniple, but your maniple is sexy as hell, Rob. It is a very sexy maniple. And technically, you've got a precept maniple, haven't you? Because you've got Reaver. You've got 2 hounds. You've got your Warbringer, and you've got your Warlord. So yeah, preset maniple, nice. Pretty sure that you're the Grandmaster of a couple of Titan Legios in 80. Would be nice to think that, but no, I'm modest. That poor thing, yeah. Matron Mother, that is. Sucks being a leader. Yeah, it just comes to me. I don't look for it. It just falls on my shoulders, and I'll take it. Much like I did. Hey JS, hey dude, nice to see you again, man. Back in the Horus Heresy weekend of 2017, when I participated in a demo game of Adeptus Titanicus. I took Iracundus, my rather nicely painted Reaver Titan with the speaker system, and because it was there, and the other guys, basically, when we was asked who wants to be Princess Majoris, I thought the guy Ben next to me would be it, because he had the Warlord control, and Warlords would normally be where the Princeps Majoris would be, but he said no, and they all took a step back and left me standing there, and I went, oh, I'll do it, because they said, like, he's got the nicely painted Titan, he's got his own Titan, he should be it. So I took it. I'll be Princeps Sinoris. I'm happy with that, and we were victorious. Our tactics were sound. We had lots of luck, and we kicked ass. So that was the first Legio Ignatum and Legio Griffonicus working together, and we defeated Mortis. We killed them, and Tempestus, because my friend Martin turned up late and he was Tempestus, and they said, well, you can play, but you have to be on the traitor side. And I went, oh. And he's had to play on the traitor side ever since. All the Titan walks, he has to be on the traitor side because there's never enough traitor princeps out there. They're always there's more loyalist Titan princeps than there are traitor princeps, which is mind-boggling. Precept, yes. Matt even printed my large banner to include them all. Oh, that's even awesomer. Right, so how are we thinking with these dudes? So, seeing as they were one colour at the start of tonight, and now they're a completely different colour, I've got to do the head on him, actually, because I didn't do the gold or the brass, I should say. But that's a nice little posse of badasses. Porphyrions and Moirax. It's all looking good, as it should. Down in the hood. This might be a bit too thin a brush, but no, that's all right. So JS, what you doing, man? Are you up to much? Are you hobbying tonight? And if you are, what are you doing? All sorts going on. Yeah, look at that. That's nice. And so the white and gold does look rather nice. Might just give some more Agrax over that. Good lord, the Warlord Volkite gun has many more parts than I thought. Yes, it does. But by jingo, they're glorious. Once you get them together, they will look amazing. Trust me. I love that. Is such a nice weapon. You've got the over and under bits as well. So make sure you know which bits you're going into, basically, when you're assembling and putting together. What was I thinking of? Agrax. You can never go wrong with multiple layers of Agrax. That is the word. Doop, 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 doop. Love me some Agrax. Wonder why I ordered 3. Need more than 3. With 3, you're probably, I think, 2 short of what I got. They are really, really, really are on the Warlord. They are a great weapon for that all important coup de grace. get those kill shots. And again, it goes to show just how, you know, as an option, having that beam mechanic on the Warlord ones over having multiple shots from a what do you call it, a mega Gatling blaster, for example. Yeah, having lots of shots are one thing, but being able to shoot what you want to shoot, especially when they're like damaged, is so much more. Yeah, if you run the risk on a reactor, yeah, but still, I'd rather have that than volume of shots, because you could always, you know, if you're targeting, you're going to get less shots hit, and if you're not targeting, you don't know where the dice is going to roll. So I like to kill things. As I've already stated, I like to kill things. I like to kill them good. Kill them hard. So, multiple layers of Agrax. There's nothing wrong with it. Everything is good. I guess I was thinking 2 for the 2 Trojan Warlords and 1 for the Greek side. I don't know, I should write this stuff down. Oh, yeah, it's like weapons. Yeah, I wish I could be a bit more organised with the weapons side of things, because I've still got a few. I've got 2 Quake cannons, 1 Volkite Destructor, a Las Blaster, turbo laser, top hat, and I think a Vulcan Mega Bolter top hat as well. So yeah, knowing where they go, and what Legio to be put with, and what arm you want them in, because obviously you want to be able to have options with arm swapping and stuff. I have all the Tomb. I love Tomb so much. I don't care what game it is in. Doing the same with my 30k World Eaters. Need more volcanoes. Well, volcanoes, obviously you get with your basic Warlords and the Mars Beta, you get the one with that, or even a Warbringer, you get a volcano cannon with. But now obviously the Reaver one's only strength 10, not strength 12. But still, it's a volcano and it's a smaller template, but you expect that because it's a smaller scaled weapon. Rosh. Awesome sauce. Right. Well, I think we're pretty okay with these, with the repaint. 3 Moirax have joined Veroni instead of being House Caesarian. Oh, doggone. Obligatory search the floor for missing parts. Oh, fuck. Oh, mouse. Good luck. I hope you find it. I would help, but I'm here. You're there. Are you deploying the foot out of shoe technique? Scanning the floor with your foot to see, oh, there's something hard there. Are you talking 28 mil? No, I was talking 18 mil. So, yeah. What are my thoughts on Acherons and Castigators? I like them. Yeah, I like them. Acherons, like with its Reaper chainsword, is nasty. Inferno gun offers strength 7, so it's quite nasty. 3 dice as well, so whatever it hits first gets the full brunt of the law, and then any other target underneath gets a hit, so that's handy. And it's template as well, so it's a big, for a weapon, it is quite a big template, you know. Yay, Mouse has found it. So yeah, no, it's definitely something that is doable and usable. But I'm a bit biased because my Acheron in 40k scale is quite formidable. It's killed quite a few things. I only managed to play it once or twice, but it's got a good kill count in those games. Oh, dear, oh dear. But yeah, no, in AT, yeah, they're decent enough. If you're using them in a lance, then the castigators with their bolt cannons, because that's 8 shots. So if you've got a full banner of 4 castigators and you're using coordinated fire, they're doing strength 7, 8 shots at strength 7. Plus, if you're out of arc or in the rear, you could be doing strength 8 or strength 9. And that's where the lance rules really come into it. Because coordinated fire, as we were saying at the start, is quite a powerful tool for knights. So even if they've got a low-powered weapon, like an Avenger minigun or Castigator bolt thrower type thing, when you're using coordinated fire and you're getting that pluses to strength, you're only getting whatever the shots you got on the start. So you're getting 8 shots. So instead of having 32 shots at strength 3, you're getting 8 shots at strength 7. So you can see where that can be quite nasty. As I said, that's without adding pluses for arc. So sides you're getting +1 or +2 for the rear. Plus, if you're targeting an area that's already damaged, so theoretically, if you're shooting a Titan that's already, you know, at the end of its structure track on its body or legs or whatever, you're doing a minimum of strength 10. Then you've got your arc, so you could be doing 8 strength 10, 8 strength 11, or even 8 strength 12 shots with castigators. So tell me where the bad thing in that is, you know. Again, knights have to be up close, but it's all about moving and manoeuvring, keeping them out of the way wherever you can, sneaking around the back if you can, and then, you know, coordinated firing the shit out of somebody is going to be absolutely lethal. Yes. Yeah, but Inferno guns are, yeah, strength 7. 3 dice. But yeah, they're nasty. As they should be. I usually break out a flashlight immediately, then if that doesn't find it, pantyhose over the shop vac. Thank God, found it almost right away. Nice. Yeah, so that's castigators in a lance with coordinated fire can really kill things, you know. And imagine if you was actually within the shield of a Titan. Obviously, if the shields are down and you're in range, my God, you're going to absolutely terrorize them. Obviously, if you're doing targeted shots, then less hits going to hit. But if you're just opening up, but you would have to actually really do targeted shots, really, 8 shots. So you're probably going to be hitting with at least 3. I'd say. Rule of averages. These parts are looking very, very cleanly cast, really lovely. I'm not seeing a lot of multiple slips and bubbles at all. I think in these little dudes, not him. Yeah, that one. There's one little air bubble in underneath his bottom bit just here, which you can't really see it. Once you paint it, you can't see it. One bubble so far out of 6. So not bad really so far. So I'm pretty chuffed. And they are, as I showed earlier on, they're such great little kits, looking really, really good. Brass. Well, it's 20 to midnight here in the UK. I'm going to call it for now because I've got work tomorrow and I need to get this office tidied up because obviously it's not my room. But yeah, thank you one and all for joining me again. Mousebait, Felix, Rob, wherever you're hiding, Kirill if you're still about, Iruz if you dropped in earlier on, JS, great to see you again, dude. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. It's been another lovely evening of chat and frolics and painting Armageddon nights again. As I said earlier, I should be on Wednesday night for a couple of hours. So if you're about, feel free to drop in. I will obviously put up reminders in various places. But yeah, so that's it for tonight, people. And hopefully you have a great weekend and an even better week. I hope things get better for you, Mouse, as well, with all the crap's been going on. And I'll catch up with you all online and other various places. So see you all later on. See you later, Felix.